What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Agree to Disagree podcast. It's been a little minute, but we're right back in action just like we never left. My name is Justin Pay, coming to you live from apparently somewhere out of a movie where we're getting hit with hurricanes and earthquakes all in the same day. But lucky for you guys, I am okay. Thank you for all the concerns and well wishes. It did not fall on empty ears. Joining me, I have my co-host, Tiana Jones. T, say something to the people. It's been a minute. I'm glad to see you again.
Man, I'm out here, Tampa, Florida, actually.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
No hurricanes for us. Just vibing on vacay before we hit that basketball season. Well, I will be out by the time. It's a constant reminder, everyone.
Awesome. That's a fantastic way to live. We were having a little mini production meeting before this call, and we were talking about a lot of unkindness that's going on in the world. And I'm about to say some unkind things in a little bit, because some of the topics that we're getting into today, starting off with, of course, the James Harden fiasco. A lot of things going on in Philadelphia. As a Sixers fan, it's not looking good. But we're just going to touch base on what's going on with James, player empowerment in general, and just some kind of moves around the league, and just talking about what's going on. Also, football is almost back. Could not be more excited. Football season starts in less than a month. Actually, September 10th, I believe, is week 1. Football right around the corner, so we will be giving our predictions. Who will be coming out of the NFC? That's who we're going to be talking about for each division this week. Next week, we'll hit on the AFC. And then lastly, Basketball Hall of Fame inductees, going to talk about who got in this year and who we think might have gotten slighted, probably likely to get in next year. So a couple good things coming up. We're going to get into all that shortly. So got a good episode coming up for sure. Topic number 1. James Harden has requested a trade from the Philadelphia 76ers. He has subsequently not been traded and has had some interesting comments to say over the past couple weeks. He's called Daryl Morey a liar. He's sworn that he will never play for the Philadelphia 76ers ever again as long as Daryl Morey's there. And a poll was actually just recently taken amongst executives in the NBA about which star is next to request a trade, and Joel Embiid is at number 1. And honestly, I believe them. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. I really feel like it would be best if you stated your opinions first, and then I'll come in and say what it is that I have to say. So what are your thoughts? On just specifically what's going on in Philadelphia and James Harden in general. And then secondly, just kind of this trend that we're seeing around the league of stars just doing what it is that they need to do to make sure they get their money locked in. And then immediately after that, just being like, I don't really want to be here anymore. And I'm going to do whatever it is that I can to make sure that I'm not. So what are your thoughts around that?
One, just James Harden in general. I'm not a James Harden fan, but I do have respect for him just as far as like carrying the franchise, because we talk about a lot of the LeBron teams and like carrying them to the finals and stuff. And like I'm looking at some of the teams James Harden has had where he carried them tremendously. The rosters is looking super comparable. So I'm just like, now he didn't do what LeBron did, and obviously he's not LeBron. So like just off the fact that I would like, let's not act like he's trash. I mean, he's a different player now. Obviously everybody gets older, but we're not going to act like James Harden wasn't that guy for a long time. Mm-hmm. Now, with that being said, the liar part is hilarious to me because he probably is a liar. But what did Chris Paul say about him? When he left Houston, when he got traded out of Houston, Daryl Morey told Chris Paul, I'm not going to trade you to the Thunder, when Chris Paul heard that he was going to go to the Thunder. So one, he is a liar. Okay, like that should just be clear to people, whether you're mad about James Harden winning out or not. Like he clearly lied to James Harden. He told him he was going to trade him. He told him he was going to before he told him he was going to give him a long-term deal. And then he realized James Harden was washed up and he was like, okay, I can't do that. And then he told him he was going to trade him immediately and he didn't do that. So yes, I think he's a liar. And everybody on the internet is like, oh, well, handshake deals don't count. Everybody knows business 101. Everybody on the internet thinks they know business all of a sudden. They work at a regular job. Now everybody's a businessman. But that's another story. But even if, like, obviously we know, like, if you don't have the contract, you don't have the contract, or if you don't have the deal, you don't have the deal. But you can still be mad that somebody lied to you. Like why are we so upset at him for being upset that he got lied to? Like, regardless, you're still gonna be upset. Now, two, he okay, so you know Daryl Morey's a liar anyway because you helped him in the lie with Chris Paul, where you got Chris Paul because you wanted him. Chris Paul actually carried y'all through the playoffs, then got hurt and you folded, couldn't win a game. That was on you. Then you got mad at Chris Paul because he was trying to hold you accountable. So you helped Daryl Morey lie to Chris Paul about the trade so you could get Westbrook. That didn't work out. So it's just funny to me how people are okay with people being liars. So that was your guy when he was lying to your bros. But now that he's lying to you, it's a whole, now you want to have this whole fiasco in China out of all places. So that's the third part. But lastly, I would just say, like, if I'm the Sixers at this point, I literally don't care what I get back. If anybody is willing to trade for him, I'm trading you there. I don't care. I'll take whatever draft picks. I'll take whatever young players you send me. I'll trade you back to Houston. I'll trade you wherever. I'll trade you to the worst team possible. I'll trade you anywhere besides LA because that's where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what I would do and cut my losses because what's the other option? Have him. We already seen him when he wants to not play. All right. So
in that regard, he is a man of his word.
Right.
Like, for sure.
We've seen him. So, like, you can't have him on the team at all under any circumstance.
Yeah.
So I would just trade him literally anywhere. If it's for, I'll trade him for a BJ's membership because, like, just whatever. Like, I will trade you for whatever just to make sure you don't go to LA. But that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Like, I thought it was a bad idea getting him anyway. And I knew the Philadelphia fans would hate this. They love, oh, we got Harden. I knew you guys would hate it that year later. And here we are. But as far as James Harden, like, he's clearly a joke, but I can't be mad at him for being mad that somebody lied to him. Like, that's just what happened. So God bless you, Harden, but I would trade you anywhere except LA. And I'll take whatever back if I'm Daryl Morey.
Well, the first thing I want to hit on is that we definitely agree on the fact that I'm right there with you. Like, at this point, I would trade him anywhere in the NBA but to the Clippers. Like, if you're going to pull this type of stunt and then expect to get rewarded for it, like, that just can't fly. Like, yeah, I would not be trading him to the Clippers. I'm trying to word what I have to say in the most, like, I want to be genuine in what it is that I'm saying, but I don't want to. It's impossible for me to totally get rid of my bias here. Like, I'm going to try to be objective, but I'm also not going to say that I'm going to succeed in that, you know? So let me start here. And let me also say, I mean this when I say this. This is the type of stuff, like, when old heads be talking about stars and players and they're like, oh, this guy, he's a disgrace. Like, he's an embarrassment to our league, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is the type of stuff where, like, I start to agree. Like, this is honestly, in my opinion, disgraceful on behalf of James Harden. And what makes this a disgrace and him an embarrassment to me is that Daryl Morey probably did lie to him about how quickly he would be traded. And James Harden has every right to be upset about that. But where it becomes disgraceful to me is that this is a pattern of behavior. Like, this isn't the first time James Harden's done this. This is the third time that he's demanded a trade out of somewhere. And it is not a request, it is a demand. And if you don't get me out of here, I'm going to do everything within my power, within the confines of what won't get me fined or, you know, suspended or whatever. I'm going to wear a fat suit. I'm going to start talking about how bad my hamstring hurts. But as soon as I get to Philadelphia, now it's cool. Like, now I'm going to go over to China and start calling out our general manager. Like pulling stuff like that, now there's no way that they're bringing you back because you just can't. Like you can't. Like to your point, you just can't let that stuff fly. That can't happen. And then also what makes it so embarrassing is the fact that if he was able to take a step back, which he can't do because he's so self-centered and only cares about himself, that he's unable to see, like, okay, you were told this trade would happen quickly. What do you think is holding up the trade? Nobody wants James Harden. Like, you just came off of a playoff performance where you had 240 burgers. You single-handedly won those games for your team in that Celtics series. And outside of those games, you could not manage to score more than 4 baskets in a game. 5 times in a playoff series. 5 times. You had 9 points in a game 7. 9 points. Like, nobody wants him. And again, embarrassment, disgraceful. Not only is the writing on the wall in the fact that nobody wants to trade for you, but he himself and his representation, his agents, whatever, also know that nobody wants him because otherwise he would not have opted into his contract. He opted into that contract because he's due what, 32, 34, 35 million, 30 plus million dollars this year. He's going to be due from the Philadelphia 76ers. He agreed to play for the Sixers. That's what happens when you opt back in. But he opted back in so he could guarantee that money because when testing free agency, like obviously we know free agency is not really free agency in the NBA. They know what type of chatter's happening around the league. They know who's prepared to offer what before free agency actually starts. If it was a completely blind test, he probably would have opted out and tested free agency. But the fact that they knew what they were going to get back after what he just did, nobody was offering James Harden a max contract. Nobody. What? And what he was looking for, 4 years? 4 years max deal? So you can be making $60 million at what, age 37, 38? And you're already declining right now. It's very visually apparent that you don't have the same quickness. You don't have the same burst. The statistics show he can't finish at the rim. I'm pretty sure I would have to double check this, look this up. I know this is on camera and being recorded, so y'all can keep me honest. And I'm not saying this to be a fact, but I believe if I were to double check it, he made less than 50% of his layups at the rim in the playoff. His at the rim finishes, he made less than 50% of them. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable coming from a player of his caliber. So to conclude my tirade, not a fan of what James Harden is doing at all. I'm sure that Daryl Morey probably did make some missteps. I am totally aware of that, and I acknowledge that. And James Harden has a right to be upset about that. However, what just tips this whole thing overboard for me is this pattern of behavior that we've seen from James Harden, that as soon as he doesn't get his way, he will do whatever it takes to get to where he needs to go. It's not honorable. It's not good for the NBA. We can all agree on that. It's not good for the NBA. And it's just not a pretty sight. It's just not a pretty sight. And as a admitted Sixers fan, this is the beginning of the end for us. It's over. Like, it's over. Heard it here first. I'm going to play this clip back in a couple years. It's done. Like, James Harden's going to be out of here. Joel Embiid's going to request a trade at the end of this year. And luckily, we'll still have Tyrese Maxey, hopefully, and some pieces. So, like, I think best case scenario is the Sixers go back to being like a slightly above 500 team, and we're fighting for play-in spots over the next couple years. And hopefully we get somewhat of a decent return for Joel. But this is the beginning of the end for the Sixers. They're going to be good this year. They'll win 50 games. They're going to burn out, maybe get a bad matchup in the first round, be out by the end of the first round. We know they're not making it past the second. Yeah, man, things aren't looking good for Philly, and James Harden is an embarrassment to the NBA. Those are the two things. Those are the two points that I really want to get across.
You know what's more embarrassing though? going to get a player who's shown this pattern of behavior. So you guys rewarded bad behavior with a contract, and now you're mad he's treating that's like, okay, like I'm gonna admit this on camera. I'm sorry. I watch Love and Hip Hop. So and everybody knows Safaris, Nicki Minaj X. Sorry, Nicki. I know you don't want anybody to remember that. But long story short, everybody keeps getting with this dude. You see how he treats his wife, because they're not divorced yet. Maybe they are now, but it was his wife for this whole time. You saw how he was treating his wife, who mothered two of his kids. And then the next chick on the next Love and Hip Hop, next chick after the next chick gets with him. Oh my God, I can't believe he treated me bad. Can you not believe it? Like, have you not seen what he's doing? Oh no, he's a good guy. Is he? I don't know the man. All I know is what I see on TV. But it's none of the relationships are working out. So really, who is it? Is it his fault? Of course it's his fault. So of course it's James Harden's fault. You always blame the person with the bad behavior. You don't want to, like, I'm not going around blaming women for men being childish. But at the same time, you see how he treats his actual wife, who he's still married to, and then his two kids. But he's with you in Miami with your kids, and you think that's cool. Oh my God, I can't believe he broke my heart. Can you not? So like, it's the same thing. Like, you guys went and got him. You think it's going to work out for you, but as soon as it doesn't, oh my God, he's disgusting. No, you're disgusting for hiring somebody that's disgusting. That's one. Two, he probably looked at Kyrie's deal just now. Like, that's probably pissing him off too, because Kyrie just got the bag and he's going to request a trade soon if Luka doesn't do it first, especially if Luka doesn't. He's definitely out of there. So he's probably looking at Kyrie and he's like, all right, you guys said you hated this guy, but he just got a bag. All right, let me go try to get a bag. So that's two. People watch other people's pockets. And then three, if you can't trade him, like I said, I would trade him for literally anything. But if you can't trade him and he has to be on your roster day one, the NBA is already like literally looking into him because like he's walling. So like at this point, like I'll Ben Simmons him. Like, I don't know if you guys had to actually pay Ben Simmons, but remember when you like held out all his money for the games he missed?
Yeah, I don't think that result ever got like disclosed of
Yeah,
what.
so I don't know what happened. He probably ultimately got most of the money back, but I would just do that again. Like, all right, if you come in out of shape, if you come in late, if you come in if you tell me your hamstring hurts, I don't care. Like, I know I can't prove that you're not hurt. I don't care. If my team doctor said they don't see nothing, I'm not paying you. And if I have to get sued, I don't care. We'll take this to court. I'm not giving you any money. And if 10 years from now arbitration happens and I have to pay you, so be it. I'm not giving you this money anytime soon. You're gonna have to take me to court. And I'm gonna keep appealing it to the day I die. So that's my second course of action if I can't trade you, because there's no way. And like, the Sixers will probably have more leeway than any team has ever had with trying to not pay a player, because like, come on, we all see what's happening. And like the fact that the NBA has to investigate. First of all, there's nothing to investigate. I hate investigations for things that what's the investigation? He said he's not playing for them. that's the investigation. So now what are you going to do about it, NBA? Adam?
And it's like, what are we even like? And it's just, not only does James Harden not have any leverage, but the craziest thing to me, like, we want to talk about all these backdoor deals, handshake deals, whatever, with Daryl Morey. And I'm not trying to defend Daryl Morey here, because again, I can admit he's done some shady stuff in the past. He probably did it again. I'm not trying to absolve him. But what I am trying to say is that handshake deals, that's not admissible in court. Feel me? Like, you want to know what is? The dotted line James Harden signed his name on when he opted back into that contract. Nigga, you agreed to play. Like, you agreed to play. Like, you signed, like, you legally agreed. Like, you said, we are going to be here. It'd be different if Daryl Morey sent him a letter and was like, hey, yeah, we're definitely going to do X, Y, and Z. And then the nigga could be like, look, like, he told me, he said it. Like, I'm not hearing it, bro. I'm not hearing, like, oh my gosh, I'm not hearing it. The sooner he's off the team, the better. Like, two rights don't make a wrong here, but to me, one wrong is significantly worse than the other. And that's pretty much, I could go on all day. That's pretty much all I have to say about
The
that.
NBA is going to be at an impasse though, because we love and hate the NBA for how, like, I would just use the word lenient they are with their players, and we hate the NFL how mean they are to their players, but we still watch it. So it's like the NBA can take the NFL route and be like, literally, like, if we don't like you, you're not going to work anymore. I mean, how many people have fallen off the face of the earth? Colin Kaepernick for different reasons, but that's still the same thing. They said you're not playing here anymore. Le'Veon Bell fell off the face of the earth.
Todd
Nobody
Gurley was literally in a Super Bowl and then just poof. Like,
like they can take that tactic where it's like we're hardcore, like nah, like if you do something crazy, like nope, we're good. Or, but then it's like we're still gonna watch the NFL. Are people still gonna watch the NBA without the stars? I don't know. So like they created this monster. So it's like either you're gonna put your foot down hard and try to see how the ratings go with it, or you just give in like you usually have, just so you can keep your superstars so people watch at least in the playoffs. Because I don't know which way you're gonna take it, but now we're at an impasse. You have to make a decision. Are we gonna keep letting it get out of hand, or are we gonna just hope our ratings don't suffer and put our foot down? So it's up to them. The ball's in Adam Silver's court. Um, all I can say is, as much as I dislike a lot about him, rest in peace, David Stern would never.
David Stern wasn't
He
going
would never. This would have been handled.
All right, on to topic number 2. Football season is back. And we need to run through these divisions, man. Who do you think is coming out of each division? This week we're starting with the NFC. And you already know where we got to start. Come on now. We're starting in the NFC Beast. You mean they was trying to call us the NFC Least. Had 3 playoff teams last year. Each team got better. That's the crazy part. Like,
yeah.
Not this is you're gonna have to fill me in on if the Cowboys. No, they got Gilmore. What the hell? Yeah. Each team definitely got better. I can't remember what other moves the Cowboys made. But yeah, starting in the NFC East. I'll lead off on this one. This one is me being unbiased, like 100%. I feel like you got to go with the Eagles. I mean, just looking at the entire NFC in general, I don't see another team that's made the moves to catch up with them outside of the Niners. I really do feel like looking at the NFC is pretty weak this year overall. So in the NFC in general, I feel like it should be a rematch in the conference championship. But in the NFC East specifically, just going down the line, like they'll probably lose a game to the Cowboys this year. Eagles, Cowboys, no matter how bad the teams are, that's always going to be a good game, no matter how good, bad one of them is. They'll probably split the series this year. Giants, I think they're going to get 2-0'd again. And the Redskins, I think the Commanders, I think they're going to get 2-0'd again. No. They beat us last year. They were one of our losses. But yeah, man, looking at that Eagles roster, Jalen Hurts, as a huge Jalen Hurts believer, I need to see it again. Like, he had such a phenomenal season last year. It's like, I need to see that again. I just moved into a new place, and these walls are pretty barren. I'm looking to get some artwork, just some stuff to have around the house. And on one of these websites, I saw like a pretty big, I can't even fit but it was a pretty big poster, like a framed Jalen Hurts poster signed, and it was $550. And I'm like, that's not a bad price. However, I don't know if I'm paying $550 off of one great season, So I guess me getting that really could have been me investing in Jalen Hurts. I don't want to make it seem like I'm doubting him at all. I feel like he's perfectly set up to have another great year. But I just need to see it again. I would say that about any quarterback. You can't just be convinced off of one great season, although I do fully believe he's poised to do it again. Looking at that running back room, nasty biz. You got DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny on the roster. You got who else coming back? I can't, but now I got to ask the Cowboys fan to remind me of our running backs, Gainwell and Boston Scott. Nasty running back room. Receivers still got Brown and Smith. I'm not even sure if Quez is back, but whatever, you got Brown and Smith. Goddard, top 5 tight end in the NFL. Jason Kelsey's back. Thank you, Lord. Rest of the O-line's looking good. And then that D-line. Ooh-wee. Eagles went crazy in the draft this year. That D-line's looking gross, looking for big contributions from Jordan Davis as well as Jalen Carter. Nakobe Dean is going to have a breakout year. He's going to be one of the top linebackers in the entire NFL. Firmly believe that. Corners, I cannot believe that we managed to get Bradbury and Slay back, but they're coming back. Linebackers outside of Nakobe Dean looking a little sus. Safeties looking a little sus. But outside of that, man, Eagles roster is looking stacked. Schedule is going to be a lot harder this year. I think this team's going to be better with a worse record. We won 14 games last year. I see us at about 12 this year, 12 or 13. But the team's going to be just as good, if not better. So, yeah, NFC East, I got the Eagles for sure.
It's difficult for me because in the NFC Beast, as you call it, they're infamous for not having a back-to-back conference winner after each year. The last person to do it was the Eagles, but that was like when Andy Reid was going berserk back in, what was that, like 03 to 06, whatever like span that was. So like, all right, you lost your coordinator. We now, I think people more and more, now more and more people are realizing, especially in football, coaching absolutely matters. So you lost that. I don't know. Your head coach is kind of a weirdo to me. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how that works just with losing the coordinators. Running back room, I guess it's cool. A lot of injuries. So we'll see how a lot of those players, if they can stay healthy with that. And then the loss of Hargrave is big. Obviously, you got steals in the draft, but we've seen, especially in football, we've seen drafts not work out. So we just got to see that these players can play. So that D-line is still good. Safeties, like you said, I'm not sure. I think we can definitely, we as in the rest of the NFL, could definitely throw on you guys. Could definitely throw you guys. That middle's wide open. And then Jason Kelsey, I love that guy, but he's 140 years old. Something got to give. It's that year. Like, we've seen it. Somebody go from here to like, all right, bro, you're washed up. I hope he has another good year just as like a fan of him. Like, obviously you don't want to, like, I don't like the Eagles, but like him, like you don't want to hate on him. But like, we've seen the cliff, Max Kellerman voice. We've seen the cliff happen. So I don't know about that, like trusting a geriatric to like keep your quarterback standing
Linemen
right.
be playing till they're like 40, yo. Like he's Listen, good.
I hear you, buddy. But now, with that being said, that the conference is stacked. Not the conference. The schedule for you guys is stacked. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys don't actually have a much easier schedule that I just went through it. But for the Eagles, there's literally a world where you guys go like 4-7 in non-conference. There's a world that happens. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a world that happens. Let's go down the schedule.
No.
Week 1 at the Patriots. You could absolutely lose that.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Week 2 with Kirk Cousins, ice in his veins. Shootout.
Could happen, yeah.
At Tampa, blowout. I've seen them in person, blowout. At the Rams, that's a win. At the Jets, I don't know. Could be a loss. They might have gotten.
That's going to be a tough game. That could be a loss.
Week 7, Miami. Could be a loss. Absolutely.
Good game.
And you got week 11 at Kansas City. Good luck. Week 12, Buffalo's coming in town right after. Right after week 13, San Fran's coming in town. And then you go to Dallas.
These were all back to back.
And then you're at Seattle, which is not a joke.
No,
and then the Cardinals, that's a win. I don't know. Like, there's a world where you guys go 4-7 in non-conference. So you got to, like, run through the division, which is not going to happen. So I don't know. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and pick the Cowboys to win the conference.
The conference or the division? Because right now we're talking.
No, my bad. The division. My bad.
Okay.
Basketball's on my mind. Always conferences. But I'm gonna just go with the Cowboys to win the division. As much as I dislike Dak, and as much as everybody hates Mike McCarthy for some reason, just because Aaron Rodgers told you guys to, When's the last time Mike McCarthy had a bad season? You can say whatever you want about the clock management and the blah blah blah, like Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. He's a really good coach. Like let's be clear. And the regular season, Cowboys own the regular season, so it's no reason for them to stop. Now we talking playoffs is a different conversation, but I think as far as the regular season goes, I got the Cowboys winning the division for sure. That non-conference schedule for the Eagles is absolutely ridiculous.
It's the same for the Cowboys. The NFC East plays the AFC East this year. Our out of conference schedules are virtually the same.
I hear you. I believe in the Cowboys more than the Eagles with that schedule and like where the games are specifically at for sure.
I'm like actually sleep. Come on now.
Listen. What was the records last year?
14. Oh, the Eagles and the Cowboys?
Mm-hmm.
I know we went 14-3. I think the Cowboys got 12 wins last year.
That's what I'm saying. So you guys one game.
One game what?
Huh? One game like
what? Would it evened us out at 13?
Yeah, I'm saying like you won one more game.
We won 2 more games.
You guys went 14?
14-3, yeah.
Yeah. So all right, my bad. You went 2 more games. All right, now a regression to the means. Are you guys gonna have that season again? Let's just say no. Let's just say no. Cowboys always win 12 games. So like now just with that, like let's just say we're neck and neck. Cowboys always win.
Nothing.
Regular season champs. Cowboys always win games. Always. So I'm gonna just assume the Cowboys win 12 games again because there's no reason not to assume that. Eagles, I'm gonna assume they at least lose 2 more games this year. That's what I'm saying. Like the conference schedule, like you guys better rip through the conference, and I don't see that. So I got the boys in the tiebreaker because they're gonna beat the Eagles twice this year.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Gilly just added Gilly Lock. We added Brandon Cooks. Hopefully Gallup can learn how to play football again. He's 2 years removed from the injury. It's people talk about it's the same offense, and we just added a good veteran player, and the defense got even better. Oh my God. Dan Quinn is about to go berserk. Like that defense is insane. It's over. Regular season champs, and then they'll probably lose in the first round again. But that's later down the line.
That's playoff predictions. We're not there yet. All right. I will take you at your word. NFC North. It's just spicy a little bit. You got the Bears, the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings. I led off the last division. So out of those 4 teams, who do you see coming out of the NFC North?
Everybody's talking about these Lions. I would never bet on a Detroit team.
Ever
in my life. So I have to see it to believe it. So I'm not picking the Lions. Everybody loves Justin Fields all of a sudden. I'm a Buckeye. But I don't know. People talk about how talented he is.
You're a dragon, and don't you ever forget it.
He won like what 5 games? Like I don't know. Like and he looked god awful. I'm sorry. And it's like, oh, he's a good runner. Like I just need to see it again to believe it. He has a good receiver coming in, but I don't know if I trust them. Definitely not picking the Bears. I actually have them finishing last. I'm gonna do it. I'm going Green Bay.
You never cease to amaze me.
I wanted to go Kirk Cousins, but like they like shredded that team because they're trying to get rid of him basically next year. So like if they would have literally brought anybody back, I would have went Vikings. I got the right to change my pick later down as when the season starts, but I'm going between Green Bay and Vikings. I'm still trying to decide between who I think is going to win the division, either the Packers or the Vikings. So I'm going to hold off on that one, but those are my top two.
Word. I'm right there with you. I think the Lions are going to have a good season. I wouldn't be surprised by any stretch if they won the NFC North. I wouldn't be shocked at all. However, they're not my favorites. I know it's like the easy pick, but I'm still going with the Vikings, man. That defense was historically bad last year. I watched like a deep film breakdown, like this, like I'm a YouTube junkie. So I watched this like half-hour video just talking about their defense and just how they routinely just blew coverages, like just straight up lack of discipline, like not even just like it was such a combination of the scheme that they were trying to run just wasn't good for the players that they had. And then on top of a bad scheme, there just wasn't discipline. Like they had more blown coverages than any team in the NFL and gave up more big play. They were like top 5 in big plays given up. So I say all that to say, and they still won like what, 12 games last year, at least something around there. So you still got Justin Jefferson, you still got Kirk Cousins. People love to make jokes about Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback, in my opinion. So you bring back most of that defense. You get a new DC in there. I don't even know who the DC is, but it's got to be better than who they had last year. I know for sure he got fired. So yeah, short, sweet, to the point. I'm still going Vikings. And then after that, I got the Lions, but yeah, Vikings coming out of the NFC North. I think they'll be solid again.
I'm looking at Green Bay's schedule, like outside of the Chiefs, maybe the Chargers, but we've seen the Chargers wet the bed every time they're supposed to beat somebody.
Yeah.
They're at Pittsburgh. That could definitely be difficult with that defense, but Green Bay's offensive line is like actually stacked. Honestly, outside of the Chiefs, their schedule is pretty trash. I'm going Green Bay. Shock the world. Let's get it, Matt LaFleur.
Alrighty.
The roster is absolutely the same. You lose Lazard, okay. And then obviously Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers pulled the James Harden last year and just completely quit. I don't care what anybody says. You can blame whoever you want. He was not playing ball last year. And they went 8-9, and they literally only had to win the last game to get into the playoffs. Like, come on, bring back basically the same roster. I'm going with the Lovesters, a quarterback that can actually just relax and just listen and just do what Matt LaFleur asks, who's actually a great offensive coach. I'm going with Green Bay with this week schedule.
Okay. I like that. I could see it. I could see it. I doubt it, but I could see it. All right, NFC South. This is the ass crack of the NFL. This division sucks. This division sucks. Desmond Ridder, I have no faith. Like, and I'll always admit when I don't know something. I am not familiar with his game. I did not watch him at Cincinnati. I barely watched him last year, when he did play, and I'm not believing now. I'm sorry. To win a division, I gotta see it. If I can get proven wrong, so be it. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Panthers, they're gonna suck too, but maybe they catch a couple of cheeky little wins. Who knows? Like they should start showing some promise. I know their defense isn't bad. The Bucks, you already said you watched them firsthand. And I don't think Baker's hopping back to Oklahoma for him anytime soon. I don't think he'll be planting any flags in the NFL. So I'm definitely going with the Saints. The Saints won more games than they should have last year. I was watching the Saints all year specifically because the Eagles had their pick. So I was hoping they went 0-17. And they snuck out a couple games with a rotation of quarterbacks throughout the year. That defense is not bad at all. They do have weapons on the offensive end. And now you bring in Derek Carr, who is a very serviceable quarterback. Not fantastic by any means, but certainly not bad. I think he's good. I think Derek Carr is a good quarterback. Excuse me. He's had some solid seasons. And I feel like he'll have a solid season in New Orleans. So again, this is an easy pick, but like this is like the not a very nuanced pick, I guess. Not really trying to set any hot takes, but looking at the rest of this division, it sucks. Like it's legitimately not good. So I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah. This division's an easy pick. Like the Falcons actually have some studs at skill positions. It's actually insane. But I mean, come on, like Ritter, like stop. Like let's cut, like come
What
on.
I'm
Like,
saying, yo. Like I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So they're fighting for last place with the Bucks, who, like you said, I saw firsthand. God, like Like literally, like the fact that they tried to convince us it was a quarterback battle and Kyle Trask is the backup and they got this other like kid, I don't know his name. He's like this little pipsqueak, I think out of like not Purdue. He's from somewhere like in the Carolinas somewhere. I don't even know what school he went to. It's just whatever. Baker's clearly the starting quarterback. In practice, he literally only threw to Mike Evans when they went like live for obvious reasons. But that's not going to work. Mike Evans obviously still going to get his little catches and stuff, but that's not going to help them win the division. They're fighting for last place with the Falcons. I literally was watching the running backs like try to catch balls out the backfield. Like zero catch, like zero. Balls bouncing off their head, going over. Like literally the running back coach, I guess he was the running back coach or the assistant running back coach, whoever he was, like he literally had to stop the drills. Mind you, it wasn't a live drill. Like it was literally like him and his players. So like he was throwing passes to them. Like just they were doing like little, like literally like little 5-yard like flat routes and they just had to catch it. And like he's just tossing it to them and they're not catching it. He had to stop it and be like, and teach them literally how to catch the ball. He's literally going like this and telling them how to catch a football. It was god awful. So long story short, Bucks and Falcons are fighting for last place. Bucks will probably get last place. And clearly Todd Bowles, I'm so sorry. I just wish he knew what he was doing, but we've seen this movie before with the Jets, and we wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt because it's the Jets. But like now, like, come on, bro. Like you had Tom Brady and you wet the bed. Now, the Panthers, they could be sneaky good. I think Bryce Young is going to go crazy, and Frank Wright is a great coach. I don't know if they have all the pieces they need yet, but they're definitely building a good roster. They may be a couple years out.
I forgot Frankie's on the Panthers. When I said they might sneak out a couple of cheeky wins, I could also see the Panthers because I know they have like a solid defense. And Bryce Young, who knows? Maybe I personally do not believe in rookie quarterbacks. Like I'm a firm believer in that quarterback is the hardest position outside of like maybe pitcher or like goalie or something in American professional sports to come in as a rookie and cook up. Like it's so rare for us to see that. So I'm not even holding it against Bryce that I don't think he's going to go crazy. However, I do think they'll like I think they'll like sneak out a couple games. I don't think the Panthers will be like terrible, but I still don't think they'll be good.
I think if anyone can do it, Bryce Young can do it. I think he's going to be good. But long story short, yeah, I'm picking the Saints because I know we still have questions about the coach. I really still don't know who he is. His name's Allen, last name Allen. He's a defensive coach. Not sure what he even did defensively over the years. But the defense is still good. The Saints defense is always good. Hopefully Slant Boy can play this year. And then we do have Chris Olave, breakout year. Watch that. He just catches everything. What a professional.
He's tough.
Go Buckeyes. And Derek Carr, I've always liked Derek Carr. This is not even really a compliment coming from me because I hate this other guy, but hate is a strong word. But I always told people, I think Derek Carr is better than Dak Prescott for whatever that's worth. And people always have Dak Prescott around 12-ish. Derek Carr is better than Dak Prescott. So I think, and he's on his revenge tour. He's jacked now all of a sudden. I think
I saw that picture. Dude looks huge.
Yeah, so Saints are going to run away with this one for sure.
All right, first division we've agreed on. Who would have thunk it? And then finishing with the NFC West, we discussed this before about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I remember your answer. I hope you've seen the light, but I'll let you lead off. Who is coming out of the NFC West?
Imagine I said Cardinals.
Well, then now you're discrediting our show together, so don't do that. Because now I'm associated with talking to you, and you got the Cardinals coming out. Then now you're making me look bad.
I remember picking the Rams. Go Stafford. Definitely not going to do that again. They're definitely going to get off to a horrible spot. I actually think they're going to make the wild card. Like they're going to fight for like the last two games are going to mean something. And I think they're going to grab a wild card. But with that being said, I never thought I would do this. I'm going with Geno Smith and the Seahawks. That offense is about to be popping. They just added Jackson Smith. I can't even say his name.
And yeah, I don't want to put
Go
it either.
Buckeyes. Like, yo, I don't think people realize what's cooking up there. They have Jackson, who's flat out about to be like a super stud out the gate. Like, I'm just telling y'all that. I watch literally every catch he's ever had in his life. He's about to go stupid.
Okay.
You still have DK, and then you have Tyler Lockett, who people like literally like forget about. He's an absolute stud. The running back room is great. They just are not healthy. So hopefully if they, get healthy, the running back room is great. Pete Carroll's gonna make the defense with it what they've always been. They're gonna at least be okay. I'm going with the Seahawks. And it's crazy that I'm going with Geno Smith, like a guy who was like clearly a bust, a guy who I didn't even think could like read. And I'm like, now all of a sudden you go break down coverages and do this. I have a friend that went to West Virginia with him, and I like hate to do this to athletes, specifically like Black male athletes. But like I was talking to this dude, and he was like, obviously, like everybody, like the football players, nobody wanted to be in like group projects and stuff with them because like obviously they're football players. Like one, they're not going to do the work even if they can, and two, like a lot of them couldn't do the work. So like, but like what they were saying, like these guys I know about Gino, like they were like literally like we thought he couldn't like read. Like that's how like crazy it was. Like the other football players, they were like, it was whatever. They were kind of lazy, but they were cool. Like it was like whatever. They like when they were with Gino, like people were like, is he okay? Like that's how bad it was. So with that being said, the fact that a guy people thought couldn't read is now, because NFL playbooks are the hardest thing in the world to read. Like I could like recite Shakespeare before I could like read an NFL playbook. And the fact that he tore it up last year like that, I don't think it was a fluke. I'm going with the Seahawks, but they're crazy at the skill positions.
Well, I am going to stay consistent. And the same thing that I said about Jalen Hurts, who is phenomenally better than Geno Smith, I'm saying I'm doubling down on it for Geno. I'm hoping the best. Like, I ain't hating on the brother by any means, but at the same time, like, I need to see it again. Like, I'm not, and granted, my pick is the Niners, obviously, but, you know, I'm not sold on Brock Purdy either. Like, bro, you came in, you got hot for a little bit. Like, I need to see it again. Consistency. Consistency is hard to maintain in the NFL. So the reason why I'm going with the Niners over the Seahawks, and I'm not even putting the Rams and the Cardinals in the equation, is the Niners have the best defense in football. That football is nasty. Like that, did I just say that football? That defense is nasty. Like that defense will win you games alone. You could throw me back there and the Niners would probably get like 2 dubs, like just holding people to 3 points. Like I can hand the ball off and we could just run it all day. You mean? And I'll maybe get lucky once or twice. That defense is that damn good. And now Brock Purdy really is the truth. Like I got Eagles Niners rematch in the NFC Championship. And I definitely got the Niners coming out of the NFC West. That team is so gross. And they got Javon Hargrave to add to that line, which is just like disgusting. You got Bosa, you got Hargrave, you got freaking Fred Warner playing linebacker, arguably the best linebacker in the NFL. Like they got a disgusting secondary. Like it's just gross. I have nothing but good things to say about that Niners defense. And then the offense, like they got playmakers. I'm not going to list them all. Obviously, Debo, CMC, whatever. Yeah, I got the Niners coming out of the NFC West, man. Seahawks, I'm just not sold. I got to see it again. I ain't saying they're going to be bad. I ain't saying they're going to be good. I'm just saying I need to see it again. I need to.
My only thing with the Niners is they have dogs at the skill positions at every position you want to have dogs at. They also are always hurt. All of those, like every single one of those skill players are always hurt. I don't know what's going on in San Francisco with the injuries. And also, y'all better go pay Bosa and stop playing around. That's just a side note. And then the quarterbacks, I'm not sold on Brock Purdy. We talking about having to see it again. No, I need to see Purdy do it again because that was wild. There's no way. And really, like, I'm not even hating. Like, really, what actually did he do? Like, obviously, he won like those games. I'm not trying to take that away from him. but come on, like what did he
He was
actually?
good. He was good. They
He
like
was not bad, I think. I don't think he
no,
was
he
good.
was good. Their offensive rating like exploded as soon as he touched the floor, the field, as opposed to Jimmy G. Like we're not going to do it right now, but I could pull up the stats. Like they had a good, like an above average offense with him
Okay,
on
and
the
they
field.
and what and okay, so with Garoppolo, they got to the Super Bowl, right?
I'm that we're talking about that's a different year. I'm talking about last year.
I'm just talking about in general with us, like just saying like, oh, that the offense just went okay, but just based off results, like we're not gonna. Well, I'm not gonna act like Brock Purdy's this like insane upgrade, regardless of what the exploded blah blah blah. We're not gonna like act like he's that much better if he is than Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo, and also people keep talking about Dak throwing these interceptions. They said in practice that's all he's been doing. And granted, he's coming off an arm surgery, but we need to be worried. Well, I'm not. They need to be worried about that because he's already like I don't know, like is he actually good? We'll see. And is that arm going to recover the way that they tried to tell us it was recovered? And now he's throwing all these picks. Now and also, Kyle Shanahan is known to be the quarterback whisperer or whatever. He's also known for getting every single quarterback on the roster hurt. I don't know, like again, I don't know what is going on with the injuries. I don't know how they practice. I don't know what is going on, but they need to change the practices or whatever is. I don't know what is going on. But with that being said, like all the injuries they have throughout every every position, and especially with the quarterback, Brock Purdy better be that guy because the backups are not. People love Sam Darnold. He's trash. I don't care what anybody says. People keep talking about, oh, this is his resurgence. Sam was so good. He did this. He's trash. So go ahead and play Sam Darnold if you want, who's probably going to start because Brock Purdy's clearly still hurt. And then Trey Lance, like obviously, like that was a miss.
Yeah,
So
that's a
I'm
miss.
just like, if you want to keep banking on that defense to keep carrying you every year, ask Bill Belichick how that works out. So they better get that quarterback situation together. I think Seattle got it. They just got studs everywhere. And they have nothing to lose. Like obviously they're professionals, so they don't see it how we see it. They think they have everything to lose, but they really don't. They could just go out there, line up, and just like play. Gino just can't throw picks. If Gino doesn't throw picks, I think they're easily gonna win the division.
Mm. Oof, easily spicy.
For sure.
But all right, cool. So that I could see it though. So all right, looks like we got some interesting teams coming out of these divisions. We'll look back at this in what, January,
Yeah.
um, and see just how accurate we are. I already know I'm gonna be 100%. I can't say the same for you, but
Yeah.
I I'm feeling confident. All right, so to close our show, we're gonna wrap it up with our same segment, get it off your chest. Something you pretty self-explanatory, whatever you're feeling, whatever you got to let the people know, you just got to get it off your chest. I'll go first. Drake album cover art, whatever you want to call it, cover art just released for his new album for the dogs or for dogs only, something along them lines. One thing I just got to get off my chest, man, just please make it a good project. Allegedly, this one is going to be like an homage to like OG Drake for all the OG fans, so on and so forth, man. Like Drake hasn't dropped a good project for me since like More Life. Like the closest I think would be honestly Nevermind. Maybe you could put the one he just dropped with 21, but I'm talking like just Drake, like solo Drake. CLB was mid. Nobody can tell me otherwise.
It's aging kind of okay right now. But go ahead.
But CLB,
Yeah.
I still don't like it very much. There's any Drake album's gonna have bangers, but I'm talking about one cohesive project. CLB,
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it. Scorpion, too damn long. I'm not hearing it either. And I'm not saying each one of these songs, these albums don't have great songs on it, but I'm talking about a cohesive project. Haven't had a good one since More Life. I'm hoping that this new one is gonna be that. So yeah, Drake, please don't disappoint me again. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, for the dogs. Speaking of dogs, Embiid is going to the Knicks.
Oh, brother.
He's gonna force his
This
way
is
out.
okay. This is why you didn't warn me of what it was. You had to.
I just report the news. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know to be a fact. Embiid is gonna force a trade. He's not even gonna force a trade. He's just gonna be like, "Yo, trade me." And I'm like, "Okay, sorry that we wasted your time." And he's gonna go to the Knicks because anybody with a pulse knows that New York is the place to be, both socially and sport wise, a la Aaron Rodgers. It's about to go down next year. We're getting Embiid. We're going to ship off Julius to Philadelphia, just where he belongs. And we're looking at, we'll see what Giannis and the Bucks are talking about, but we're looking at second place. What year is it right now?
2023.
We still got Boston to worry about. We'll see how that goes with the coach and everything. 2025 to the 2026 season, Knicks second place, no less. We got Embiid, and you guys want to read this for me if you can see it?
Sixers sucks, Eagles suck, Philadelphia sucks. Very, very mature. Very, very classy of you.
And
They say
and
Philadelphia fans have no class. Oh my gosh.
and this I made a mistake and wrote sucks, but it's Sixers suck, so I had to cross that out. I almost forgot how to spell Eagles, but I got it together. But
you went to college in Philadelphia and you stayed all 5 years, so it can only be but so bad. Like
4.5. Don't let the people think I was there longer than I needed to be.
You know how many people transferred out of Drexel? Like you could have left. You could have left.
Actually, I'll say this about Drexel. Thanks for bringing that up. This is how Drexel gets you, people.
Ooh, I already know what you're about to say.
Am I? I don't think you know what I'm about to say.
Okay, maybe not.
So many people transferred out, but they make it really hard for you to transfer because it's on quarter systems. And that's
what I knew you were about to say.
Oh yeah, I tried to actually transfer to Penn, and the credits wouldn't like really transfer because the Drexel classes are only 10 weeks. So good one, Drexel, you got me. But making it known to all the people out there, that's how they get you. So if you want to go, make sure you stay. But I will say, go Dragons. Love the sport teams. Love you, Amy Mallon. Love all the people there, Caleb Bacon, Hannah Nihil, Tessa Brugler, everybody. Staff's fantastic. Spiker, I know he's on his last year, his contract, but he was nothing but nice to me when I was there. Shout out to the sports team. No disrespect. I am a college coach, so I want people to know if you do want to go to Drexel to play ball, it's a good place to go, and that's coming from a coach from somewhere else. But as far as the school itself, if you're just a regular student,
I would not recommend it.
Just do your research. That's it. But go Dragons.
Recommend it. All right. On that note, the last thing that I have to say, very last thing.
Oh, here we go.
Minnie, get it off your chest. To Michelle Baker, I apologize. I was young and immature. I'm so sorry. I missed all those practices. My head was not in the right space. I was so distracted by things I should not have been distracted by. I apologize. But thank you for the hoodie. I still have it. I'm so many years removed. I live on the other side of the country now, and I still have my Drexel basketball hoodie that I would not have had otherwise. So thank you for the opportunity. And I'm sorry I made my friend look bad after she recommended me. So that's the last thing.
Now I got to piggyback off that. Shout out to Michelle Baker, who is now Michelle Swartz, who got married. Shout out to you. And she actually just had a baby girl. So shout out to you, Michelle Baker.
Double snap.
Working at Nova with Denise Dillon, one of the best coaches in the business. Shout out Nova as well.
Shout out Villanova. I wish the Knicks weren't the Knicks so I could root for them having, the Nova trio, but we could go down that rabbit hole forever. That's a wrap on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back live next week. So just a friendly reminder to everybody, be kind. And yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.